That's one heavy box. What does it say here? Woo. 66 kilograms. 20, it's about 140 pounds. Hey everybody, it's the Brew City Rider. Welcome back to the BCR Garage series. So if you landed on this page because you're researching tool carts, specifically Harbor Freight tool carts, let me just tell you a little bit about who I am. I'm a Southeast Wisconsin Harley-Davidson motovlogger. I also cover rides and rallies, and I do motorcycle gear reviews, and I've got an entire series on Harley-Davidson maintenance, and this is part of that series. While it's not working on a bike, it is unboxing and assembling equipment that will help me work on my bikes. In this case, the Harbor Freight Series 2 industrial roller cart, they call it. I'll give you a closer look at the box. So anyway, welcome to my channel, and I'm going to unbox this and show you snippets of its assembly. So stay tuned. So here's the box it comes in. It's the US General Series 2 5-drawer industrial rolling cart. It's got a 700-pound total weight capacity, and including this bottom open area, it's got 15,000 cubic inches of storage. This is the Series 2. The main difference between this and the old US General Pro Series, which they don't make anymore, this is the new improved version, is the struts allow you to open the lid 90 degrees. It also gets the struts out of your way. And then I believe it's also a thicker gauge metal. So all I did so far was cut the two straps off. And I'll go ahead and take the lid off now. So it comes packed very well. They utilize a lot of big styrofoam pieces. They got our keys right on top. Oh yeah, that was another improvement. They changed the locking system to a more secure barrel key system. Then this piece slides right up. So far she looks real good. Got a real nice powder coat finish on it. One thing to be aware of, all the advertisements you see for the US General Series 2 boxes, well at least for the tool carts, they show a similar plate on this side in chrome that says Series 2, and also on the inside under the US General somewhere it says Series 2, but in actuality those don't appear on the boxes that you buy. Just know that this is a Series 2, and you can identify them by the 90-degree lid. The old ones had like a 70-degree lid opening. So they give you your struts right here. It does come with a tool drawer liners. The instructions are right on top. We'll get into those in a minute. Well, hey guys, I got a little update for you. It's the next day, and as you see I have a sealed up box here. Well, after my last clip last night, my camera had died, and while I was waiting for it to recharge, I started playing with the drawers and inspecting the toolbox closer, and I found some damage in the upper left corner. Even though the box was just crinkled there, it obviously took an impact, because I found a bend in the metal, the sheet metal, and the two upper left drawers as you're facing it. The slide latches were both sheared off, and I could barely get the drawers out. So somewhere in transit it had fallen, or something heavy had fallen on it. No fault of the toolbox or Harbor Freight. Went back this morning and did a quick and easy exchange, no questions asked, and this is the one they gave me. So the last SKU number was 64059, and this particular one is 64061. Kind of funny, the difference I noticed right off the bat is this one's called the 30-inch 5-drawer mechanics cart, whereas the sticker on the last box said it was an industrial roller cart. And this one has the updated cubic inch figure of 15,000, which I mentioned. The last sticker had, I think it said 8,000 or something like that, because I think they were just taking into consideration what you could fit in the drawers and the top, and not the bottom tray. So anyway, I'll get this into the state that I ended up with on yesterday's video, or on yesterday's clip, and we'll continue on. Alright guys, I got her unpacked and lifted the tool chest out of the bottom frame, or the bottom shelf. A couple of things I noticed, or a few things I noticed different from the one I had yesterday, is these brackets are riveted on much tighter. There was a big gap on the other one, and I could actually move them. The keys come in a nice black pouch, whereas the other ones came in just a plastic sleeve. So inside the top here we've got our 90-degree struts and the keys. Oh, and another thing is there was more styrofoam with this one in the along the side here. It was packed with solid bricks of styrofoam. So the 64061 SKU is proving to be a better unit. All the locks are good. These two were sheared off on the last one from the impact, and this is the piece here. And get you a closer look. This was bent in. These locks were sheared off, and I couldn't get this drawer open. Alright, I'm gonna check the drawers here. There should be some more accessories. Alright, in this drawer here we've got the pole push handle. Set that aside. And in the big bottom drawer we've got the box containing the casters, and the top lid handle should also be in there. And then we've got the angle iron pieces that will go in there. And what is this? Oh, this is the side tray to hold your spray cans and whatnot. Alright, we'll open up the caster box now. These are 4 beefy casters. Got 2 non-swiveling. Wow, these are heavy duty. Holy crap. 1, 2, and then these 2 are the swiveling casters. It's got a Zerk fitting, as you can see right there, so you can grease them, and then it's got the brake. It says on and off. Oh, these are nice. Oh, it's got a 700-pound capacity on this thing. Got 2 bags of hardware. This one looks like it's got the nuts with the built-in lock washer, and this has got regular flat washers, nuts. So we'll get that sorted out. I believe the bigger hardware goes on the wheels, and then there's our handle for the top lid. We'll screw that on later. And then they even got a thin piece of board on the bottom of the box. Very nice. Okay, a lot of guys make the mistake of mixing up the hardware. This is one set of each of your main hardware. If you can see this, This one here has got a much bigger head on it, and it's longer. That's a M8 by 20. This is a M8 by 16. Let's see if I can get you. See that? So for your wheels, your casters I should say, you use the bigger bolt, the flat washer, and the nut. For your rails, you use the smaller bolt with the nut with the built-in lock washer. Upon closer inspection, it looks like the nut for the caster bolt has a built-in nylock or some type of material right on the top. I don't know if you can see that. It's like a bluish color, which will lock them in place. Very nice. The instruction manual is very simple and to the point. This is the entirety of the assembly instructions. Page 4 and page 5. It says, note, finger tighten hardware until assembly is complete. So that's what we'll do. Other than for the casters, there's no reason to finger tighten those. So I'll crank those down when I put them on. Okay, I'll put one caster on so you get the idea. They go on this way. There's a nice ridge here that they slide right into. And you put your carriage bolt in from the underside. So I've removed the tool mat. I think I'm going to go ahead and put all 4 in, see if that works out. Alright, then you set your caster over your carriage bolts. I think I'm going to put the head of the bolt on the outside. I don't believe it matters. Okay. And then a flat washer and a nut. Okay, I got them all finger started. Now I'll turn it back over and start tightening them up. Alright, so I tried several different positions, and it looks like this one is going to work out the best because you gotta hold the you gotta be able to hold the head of the carriage bolt on the top side while tightening from the bottom. By the way, I'm using a 1/2 inch socket. I tried a 13 mil, but it was a little loose, so I went with the 1/2 inch, and that fits it nice and snug. Alright, so you put your 2 swivel casters on one end and the non-swivel on the other end, and then when you put the box in, you want the swivel end on the handle side, which is, as you're facing the box, it's the left side of the box. Alright guys, finishing up the last caster. As you can see, I got my assistant here. You can do it by yourself, but it is a pain. So if you can get an extra set of hands, it's really makes this job a lot easier. Alright, there's the casters. Okay, now it's time to install the 4 posts. Now, very important, another common mistake is people just slap these on without checking the directions. The distance between the bottom holes on each end is different. You have to put the 1 inch, in other words, lower hole on the bottom. This hole on the top is 1 3/8 inches. So this goes on the outside corner. So line up your holes. put in your shorter carriage bolt. And then your lock washer. I should say lock nut. It's a nut with a lock washer attached to it. I gotta scoot around to the other side as I'm right-handed. So you hold your carriage bolt on the outside while spinning your nut on. And you want to keep these all basically hand tight until you get everything assembled, and then come back around and tighten everything down. So this is a lot easier job, one-person job, than putting the casters on was, because of course the casters have a lot of weight to them, and you have to get to both sides. But these rails are pretty light. It's 3, and now the last nut is going on. Okay, that's one post attached, finger tight. Very simple. I'll go ahead and get the other 3 attached and bring you back in. Okay, I got all the posts on. It was super easy. Now it's time to put on the front and the back side supports. One thing the instructions failed to tell you is to make sure you have these tabs facing up, because this is where the chest fits in. It butts up against that. So you use the same hardware that we've been using on the rails, and you put this on the inside of your corner pieces, and you attach it with one carriage bolt and nut on both sides. Okay, you finger tighten these as well. And of course, this is where you're going to find out if you screwed up your corner rails here, because this will be on an angle. But as long as you got the short section on the bottom, 1 inch from the bottom to the middle of the hole, you're golden. Alright, back one goes on the same way. Okay, now we're going to put the side supports on, and you see how it's got this lip on it. The instructions aren't clear. All they do is show you a little blown up picture, and to me it looks like the lip goes above the front and back supports. However, you do not have to put these on first. We're going according to the order in the instruction manual. So we put the front and the back on, and now these, they leave a little gap, and the side support slides right on top of, behind and on top of the front and back support. Alright, now we're on the swivel caster side, so that's where you want to install your side tray. Now I guess you could set this up on the left or the right. You just have to make sure the swivel casters go on this side, and then the push and pull handle will also go on this side. So you take the same hardware and put it through the whole ball of wax, and because we left this all loose, we're able to manipulate as necessary. So that's one bolt in. I'll stick the other bolt in. There we go. Took a little finagling, but we got her in. And then again, finger tight with the nuts. There we go. Lift. Now we're going to set the chest in place. This is the fun part. Up. Okay, down. Okay, now we got to slide to the middle a little bit.
My side's good over here.
Okay. Well, that just went too smooth. I like it. So now I'm going to attach the side handle into the lower hole. That way it puts it below the surface in case you want to lay something long and flat over the top of your box. If you put it up there, you're not going to be able to lay it flat. Look how nice they package all this stuff. Everything is individually bubble wrapped, including all these braces and rails. Very impressive. So this, the instructions say to put this on now, but I see a slight issue. It says to attach it, but really you have to put the angle iron brace in the corner, and it looks like it uses the same hardware. So I'm going to get this all set up. Be right back at you. See, they're all individually bubble wrapped. Okay, now it's time to put the side handle on. We're going to be putting it on this lower hole. Before you put it on, get yourself one of these corner braces. And again, we have a situation where it's a shorter distance up here than it is down here. So you want, in this case, the longer distance hole on the bottom. And you'll see very quickly why. It sits right on the deck here, and the holes are flush. So same hardware as all this other stuff here. Put your carriage bolt in. Get a nut started. I'm going to go ahead and put this other bracket in. Hopefully it'll hold it up so I can get that nut started. It's a bit of a tight fit down in there, but I got her going. Okay, they're both finger tight. Now I'll put the other ones on. Okay, the handle's on. Just got to tighten her up. And two more on this side. Okay, so this brace is now fully installed along with the handle. Alright, I got the caster side angle iron braces installed other than the back two bolts. And I'm not going to do the other side yet because I have a folding tray that is going to be incorporated in with these. And to get to the back bolts here, I have to put the cover up, so I'm going to go ahead and install the gas struts now. We're going to use the same nuts that we used down on the casters. So you install this on the inside with the gas cylinder up on top, and then put a nut on the top and on the bottom. Alright, now with the struts on, I'm going to go ahead and install the lid handle. Comes packaged in its own little bag. Need a Phillips screwdriver for this. For some reason one of the screws was installed in the handle already. Alright. Set it up top. Got one started. Alright, Alright guys, so the tool cart is now all assembled. I went through all the instructions, completed all the steps, and now I'm going to add the folding side tray, which is an optional feature. I want to say it was $27.99. To me it's a must-have. So I'm gonna open this up. I'll show you how the gas struts work. They're nice and smooth. 90 degree, slightly over 90 degree angle. So let me get this tray unpacked and we'll get her installed. Again, nicely packaged. Every piece was bubble wrapped. Comes with its own instructions. We'll give these a quick look and get her installed. Alright, time to install the side tray. This thing is a must-have, by the way, with one of these carts. Best to have a helper do this. It's a pretty heavy-duty tray, and it would be tough to hold it and get these bolts in and nuts started by yourself. So I'm going to try to get one going on each side, and then I'll put the bottom ones in. See if I can reach around. No. That went in pretty smooth. Now you got a real tight spot in here, especially if you got big gorilla hands. Okay, got that nut started. Alright, I'll get the bottom two in now. Not too bad. Now this is the toughest one here. Yeah, I can't even get my hands in there. I'm going to switch positions with my son here. I'll get you a better shot of that. Okay, now we're inside the box, and you can see what I mean by tight quarters. So my son's going to try to get it in now. Get the last nut on.
That's really tough.
Got it started?
Got it started. Very tight fit.
Alright, it's finger tight. Good job. Now I'll demo the shelf for you. Of course I got to tighten down the nuts, but I'll just show you how this works. This bottom piece swings up and then catches in on the lip of the part we bolted on. And there she goes. That is nice. Come on up here and show them the edges here. Your tools aren't going to roll off, or your hardware, because it's got an edge all around. Very, very nice. Alright, I'm going to tighten up some nuts, and then I'll be back with my final thoughts. So per the instructions, you start tightening up all the hardware from the bottom up. Okay guys, there she is, fully assembled. Couldn't time it because of all the interruptions and then having to return the first one, or exchange it I should say. But I've seen other people mention that it took them about an hour. There's no way most people are going to be able to assemble this in an hour. If you have a nice big shop with lots of room and you're young and spry and you got all the right tools and you're not recording it other than maybe doing a time lapse, yeah, maybe if you're quick. But real world, you better give yourself 2 or 3 hours to do this at least. So it's doable in one long afternoon. So it was packed very well. There's not a mark on it, which is hard for me to believe, but it's absolutely pristine. It's very sturdy. The few welds on it seem to be very good quality, like in the handle here. One thing that's really nice is all the edges are rolled, like right in here, on the drawers right here, on the side tray. Everywhere you feel, it's all rolled over, so you're not going to have any sharp edges all the way along here, which is very, very nice. It went together pretty well. I had maybe a couple issues. One of the side bolts, not this one, but the one on the other side, was slightly misaligned, but I was able to kind of tap it in. And once I put the nut on it, I was able to snug it up and it pulled it right in, so really not a big deal. My main issue is something I noticed towards the end, is the chest was not sitting on the front and back rails. It's between the tabs, but there was a slight gap, maybe an 1/8 inch gap. So that didn't seem right to me. I had to lift the box up slightly in order to get these bolts in on both sides, and that caused the 1/8 inch gap right down here between the chest and the front and back rail. So I wasn't comfortable with that. Once I get all the weight in there, it's going to need all the support it can get. Even though this is triple walled right here, I did want it to be supported by the rail. So what I ended up doing is taking some heavy duty rubberized padding with an adhesive back, and I put a strip there, and then the same in the back. So now it does utilize the rails for support. I'm curious, does anybody else run into that issue? The pictures and videos I've seen on the internet, I've never seen one that had that issue. So I guess, as far as I know, I'm the only one this has happened to. And of course I racked my brain to figure out if I put something together wrong, but I didn't. These front and back rails that it sits on, they only go on one way with the tab up, and there's only one hole. There's nothing you can do about that. So my only thought is that possibly on mine, these holes here on the upper rail were drilled slightly too high. And yes, I do have the long section up here. I touched on that earlier in the video, in the shorter section down there. So I'm confident I put it together right, but that's just how it ended up. But it's fine with those installed. Won't be a problem. Let's see. Made myself some notes here because I wanted to make sure to cover everything. Minor issue, but one of these holes that was tapped in the lid handle wasn't quite deep enough, and I had a hard time getting it to screwed in the last about 1/8 of an inch, but I did manage to do it. But that was a pain. The instructions, there was a couple omissions and a couple errors. It never talks about putting the tabs up on the front and back rails, and it also doesn't talk about whether or not the side rail goes over the front rail or under it. However, they do include a picture, but it would have been helpful to a lot of people if they actually tell you. It's designed to go over, but I know some people have said they put them underneath because of an alignment issue. But mine aligned good other than the one which I was able to tap in. The errors, they tell you not to tighten any of the hardware until the very end. That's incorrect. You should tighten the casters as soon as you put them on. Get them as tight as you can. And the other error was they tell you to install the side handle before they get into the corner supports. And the corner support has to be installed with the side handle. Let's talk about the metal thickness a little bit. I know some of you will be curious, so I've got my digital caliper here, and I'll get you some readings. Let's check the front here. Just over 0.1, which is 12 gauge. Check the sidewall. And that's the same. It's right on 0.1. So that's 12 gauge. The corner, which is triple walled, it's going to be quite a bit thicker. That looks like 0.22. So that would be 6 gauge. And I'll check one more spot. I'll check this side tray here. And that's 0.1 also, if you can see that. So that's 12 gauge again. So basically it's a 12 gauge metal that they use on here. The drawer operation is nice. It's got the sliding latches here. You just slide it in and pull out. And they all have drawer liners. And let me open the big one for you. These 3 drawers have it. They have the release on the right side. So that's a nice big deep drawer. Rolls nice and smooth. And then I'll show you the top one more time. She goes up pretty strong. That's why I was supporting it. So all in all, guys, I think this is a great value for $189.99. Normal price is $209.99. And it comes in red, black, blue, orange, green, and yellow. So I'm looking forward to outfitting it with my existing tools and picking up new tools along the way. I know I'm going to enjoy it. So anyway, that's it, guys. This is the Brew City Rider saying thanks for watching if you stuck around this long. And those of you who just stopped by to watch this information on this particular cart but don't normally follow me, if you're interested in Harleys and motovlogging and all things related to that, feel free to subscribe, and I think you'll enjoy some of the content along the way. Alright, well, hopefully this was helpful to a bunch of you guys out there, and this is the Brew City Rider saying good night, and catch you on the next one, guys. Later.